of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt used hieroglyphics to represent its number system. Hieroglyphics mean holy carvings. Their number system was made up of sacred symbols, carvings, objects, and even sounds. For religious reasons, Egyptians used this type of writing to carve it into stone to glorify their gods, to decorate jewelry, and to record scientific and mathematical ideas. Hieroglyphics were also used for their alphabetic signs. How was this used in mathematics? It was used for counting money, cooking, calculating areas of land, and accounting for the level of flooding from the Nile River during this time. Arithmetic methods in daily life. Using a base 10 system to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and even division, Egyptians used arithmetic methods in their day to multiply. They needed to multiply large quantities of materials, such as bricks for construction, multiplying taxes. Division, they used it for the splitting of products such as grains, meats, and oil. They also needed to divide land. Also, calculating the division of worker wages. Subtraction, determining how much grain was left, calculating a difference in land after flooding, measuring differences in measurements for projects such as designing pyramids and trades. Addition, this kept track of grains, calculating a census. They wanted to know how many people was in this land or in their tribe at the time. Measuring land. And fun fact, these methods were also used to measure time, cooking, and even developing a calendar. Geometry of ancient Egypt and Rhind papyrus. The Rhind mathematical papyrus, which Amez wrote, also showed better ways of writing Egyptian fractions. This ancient scroll included 84 word problems. Each problem had a solution written in scribal shorthand. Scribal shorthand was a type of mark or picture that they drew, and they knew what it meant. This saved space and time for their many writings and drawings. The Ron Papyrus was the ancient Egyptians' mathematics textbook, so like an Egyptian scroll. This included geometry problems, fractions, and arithmetics, and even sayings for their daily life and just rules that they abided by. Geometry was a crucial key for the construction of Egypt's architectural features, such as its infamous pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built on the premise of calculating area, volume, and ratios. Precise calculations were needed for its angles, just like how buildings are today. This ensures its stability and symmetry. Fractions. Ancient Egyptians' fractions. So, in their terms, this meant a finite sum of distinct unit fractions. Fractions during this time, just like now, was used to evenly divide objects into an equal share. An eye represented a part of a whole. Furthermore, Egyptians had special symbols for fractions below. And just like how we use a circle to represent a part of a whole, Egyptians used an eye. Okay, so like special symbols for fractions. So what I have wrote to the side here. So this represented 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, 1/3, and 1/10. These numbers were used to reduce the size of numbers greater than 1/2. After removing one of the fractions, Egyptians rewrote the leftover as a sum of different fraction units. Mathematics and pyramid construction. Egyptians used the equivalent of similar triangles to measure distances. Figures such as rectangles and triangles were incorporated. 3, 4, 5 rope triangle were used to form perfect right 90-degree angles, just like the Pythagorean theorem that we know of today and use in our classrooms daily. Ratios and proportions to maintain symmetry of pyramids. We do that. Secid, I said it right the first time. Also known as slope, rise over run. See, I teach this in my Math 1 class, so still used today. This was used to achieve the needed angle for structural support. Also, volume calculations were used to multiply base area by 1/3 of the height. The implementation of these mathematical applications were essential for the construction of structures such as temples, tombs, and houses. Solving linear equations the ancient Egyptian equation way. So here I just did a little equation the way how Egyptians would solve it. And here I have my little symbols I drew to the best of my ability. And so here we multiply the trial number by this factor and we receive this answer, the ancient Egyptian way. And I'm sure back then, I'm sure it probably looked so much different than how we even think it looks now. And I also did an addition example and a subtraction example. Tools and technology. Egyptians used tools like copper, bronze, stone, and wood for constructions. Some type of machines they used were levels, ramps, plows, saws, and drills for their irrigation systems. They used this to build furniture and to do pottery. For writing, they used papyrus, reed pens, and and clepsydra to keep time. Spears, daggers, swords, and shields were made for the military purposes. Legacy and influence. All in all, ancient Egyptians used hieroglyphics to record information, communicate with one another, and apply arithmetic practices in their daily lives to support their well being. Egypt's early mathematical innovations have had a lasting impact on the world we know today, leaving a legacy that helped shape modern mathematics. Through key contributions such as the base 10 number system, fractions, geometry, arithmetic, and measurement, ancient Egypt laid essential foundations that continue to influence how mathematics is understood and used today. Ways ancient Egyptian mathematics is still used today. We are still using the base 10 number systems for money, measurement, and counting, geometry and architecture, engineering and construction, fractions and ratios in cooking, science, medicine, and budgets, and arithmetic in daily life, most importantly in schools, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.